What's poppin', YouTube family? It's your girl SHOtheOT, your fave occupational therapist, here to help you and others live their best lives. Let's get started.
Bye.
Hey, as you read by that title, we're doing another activity analysis video, but this time it's gonna be hubby cooking in the kitchen. I hope all of you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you guys got to spend time with your families and your friends and the people that mean most to you. We kept it low-key for Thanksgiving this year, but I always admire Brandon in the kitchen and just looking at him and seeing all the skills that you need to do the things that he does, because honey, I'm not getting in the kitchen. I don't got them skills. But I thought this would be a great video to show you guys another example of an activity analysis, all the skills, all the cultural factors, all the physical factors, endurance, cognitive factors, all the things that goes into cooking a Thanksgiving meal. I think he did an amazing job. My stomach thought that he did an amazing job. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys clips and videos of him cooking, and I'm just gonna give you some commentary on it while we watch it together. If you like what you see here today, my husband does have a cooking Instagram. It's B's Kitchen. I'm gonna put his information down below on the screen. I'll put it at the end too, but just wanted to let you know that if you want some recipes, if you want some inspiration when it comes to cooking in the kitchen, my man has you. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, we are starting off with the mac and cheese, one of my personal favorites. Obviously, before we got to this step, we had to boil the noodles, and that's a good time to talk about safety awareness. All throughout this video, I'm going to keep pinpointing safety awareness because that is a huge thing to consider during any type of cooking task. If the cooking task involved the stove, the oven, anything temperature-wise, then we need to discuss safety awareness. And I think my husband has good safety awareness. Right here, he is putting in butter, putting in cheese. Now we're adding in some seasonings. So starting with the salt, moving on to the pepper. All of this requires so much cognitive ability, like to know the steps. So starting off with boiling the noodles, then transferring it over to the pan, then putting in the butter, putting in the cheese, then putting in the seasoning. All that requires you to have some type of understanding of sequencing of steps. Okay, y'all, I just want to preface that my man put a lot of cheese up in this mac and cheese, okay? So I don't want y'all to judge us, okay? You know, we really don't eat like this often. It was a special occasion, Thanksgiving. You're supposed to be a little gluttonous on Thanksgiving, okay? So, yes, he's adding in that cheese, and let's look at the pronated grass that he has on the spoon while he's mixing it up. He told me that he like overfilled the pan, so all throughout this, he's going to be adding in all this cheese, and then he's going to be stirring the cheese, but you have to have some type of like, just like that, just right with your motor planning to stir this, because honestly, if I was stirring this, the noodles, the cheese, everything would probably be out on the counter. And I think he did a really good job of stirring it with just that just right force and just right precision to get all of the things mixed in there correctly. So just a piece of motor planning that goes with that as well, to get all of the ingredients mixed up in there. Yeah, with this, so much dairy, honestly, if you're lactose intolerant. But my goodness, look at how it turned out. Obviously, we had to put that back in the oven, let it marinate, but voila, look at that wonderful thing we got going on there. All right, here we are gathering the materials to make the roast. A big part of activity analysis is gathering your materials and knowing everything you need to complete that activity. So I wanted to show you guys us just gathering the different materials to make the roast. Now we are seasoning the roast, baby. If you're gonna notice anything throughout this video, my man knows how to season. All right, we're not doing bland. We're not doing lackluster. Okay, we want the mouth to be filled with flavorful flavors, all right? And that is what he is doing here. Once again, though, sequencing, knowing the order, knowing how much, and knowing when to place the seasoning on the roast. I also want to point out that he's demonstrating a great amount of asymmetrical bilateral coordination. So bilateral coordination is just using two hands to do something, and asymmetrical means that one hand is doing one thing while the other one is doing another. So here he is seasoning with one hand while stabilizing the roast with another. Okay, we are at the stove, so of course we're going to hit on safety awareness. He is using a cast iron skillet, which gets super hot. He actually demonstrates poor safety awareness in this clip because he's going to grab the cast iron skillet with his bare hand. I know that he's a pro and I know he knows what he's doing. There he goes, right there. I know he's a pro and I know he knows what he's doing, but if he was my client, I would definitely get on top of them about using an oven mitt or using a towel to put a barrier between their skin and the skillet. Let's also talk about this pronated grasp and the amount of grip strength needed to use these tongs right now. There he goes again with touching the skillet without a barrier. Just a good example of poor safety awareness. But back to the grip strength, there requires a lot of grip strength and dexterity to transfer that size of roast into that pan. Now we are going to make the broth for the roast. When I was watching this clip, it automatically made me think of so many skills that I want my kiddos to have. So screwing off the tops of the chicken broth, a great skill for kids to have. That requires a lot of finger strength and coordination. So get your kiddos in the kitchen too. This is not just an adult task. He's gonna pull out the whisk, and when he's stirring with the whisk, that instantly reminded me of a digital pronate grasp. So we can use these activities to promote the skills with our kids as well. Alright y'all, so now we are cutting our potatoes to put in for the roast. I just want to point out, obviously, safety awareness because we have a big knife here. He's kind of flexing his fingers away from the knife to avoid cutting himself. I am not a chef or a cook, so if I had an adult client and we were working on a cooking task, I would just kind of keep that tip in mind so that we avoid any injury during our activity that we're doing. But now we're just putting our veggies into the pot with the roast. We're obviously going to put that in the oven, and hopefully he used oven mitts. I don't think I have a clip of him putting it in, but I just pray that he used oven mitts. And there we go. We have our delicious looking roast. It was amazing, phenomenal. If you want the recipe, go follow Bee's Kitchen on Instagram. Alright, now we are getting into the sweet potatoes. Fun fact, sweet potatoes and mac and cheese are a staple in this household, and they are a staple together, not separate. So if you are eating your sweet potatoes and your mac and cheese separate on Thanksgiving, you are doing it wrong. Alright, let's get into safety awareness. These are raw potatoes, so that took a lot of strength, but also just safety awareness to keep fingers away from the blade. See how we're flexing our fingers to ensure that we do not have an injury while we're cutting our sweet potatoes. Thank you, honey, for being a good example of safety awareness this time, and not a poor one. But like I said, this takes a lot of dexterity and a lot of strength because these are raw sweet potatoes. All right, here we are gathering our materials so that we can make our glaze for our sweet potatoes. Now, do not judge us. You're going to see a lot of sugar, a lot of cinnamon, a lot of nutmeg, and a lot of butter. They are called sweet potatoes, not savory potatoes, for a reason. Like I said, we only really eat like this on Thanksgiving, so go big or go home. But now we have our measuring cups out. We are measuring the different materials that we need to put into our glaze, having that precision to pour out the different materials without overflowing the measuring cup. Now we are back at the stove. We are stirring the pot with our whisk. He has a digital pronate grasp that, like I said before, we want our kids to have, our 2 to 3 year olds to have. So this could be a really good activity to incorporate your kids in. They can help stir something, maybe not stirring it at the stove because, again, safety. but they can help stir it away from the stove so they do not burn themselves. But this would be a great way to help practice that grasp that we want them to have. Again, using our cognitive skills to know the measurements that we need to put into our sauce. I think here he is squeezing a lemon. This would be a really great activity for kids too, because I'm really big on primitive reflex integration, and so the squeezing of the lemon is a great way to integrate those hand reflexes. So get those kiddos in there and have them help you make this sauce or this glaze, or if you're just making lemonade, have them help you squeeze the lemons. That is great hand strength and dexterity skills for them to practice. So get your kids in the kitchen with you. As long as they're being safe and away from the stove and away from sharp objects, this will be a great activity for them to help you with. All right, we got those sweet potatoes in. Now we are stirring. Again, he's using that just right precision and motor planning to stir so that the sweet potatoes do not fall out of the pan. I think he's doing a great job of that. Like I said, mine will probably be all over the counter at this point. But like I said, my baby is a pro, so he's doing amazing. Okay, here we are just adding the last finishing touches to our sweet potatoes. I don't think I got an in shot of the sweet potatoes, but just know that they were good and delicious. Yeah, I mean, I think he did a great job. Let me know down in the comments if any of this food looked enticing to you, because I know it was delicious to me. I think here is our end result now. Here it is. Look at that mac and cheese, them sweet potatoes. This is a classic soul food plate, y'all. So let's just talk about that and discuss cultural right there, because not everybody's plate is going to look like that. Not everybody's Thanksgiving plate or menu looks like how mine did. So make sure you have your client's cultural factors in mind when you are doing a cooking activity with your client. They deserve for you to pay attention to those details of their lives because they are important. So for us, the mac and cheese, the sweet potatoes, the roast, he made cabbage, he made dressing, he made cornbread. That is a classic soul food meal, and that is what we eat on Thanksgiving. Child, it took me all day and all night to do that voiceover. But anything for y'all, okay? So I really hope y'all enjoyed that. I thought it was really cool, really interesting, something new, something different. Like I said, comment down below what you thought about it. If you were like, that looks delicious, go follow him on Instagram, B's Kitchen. I'm going to put his information on the screen. Go follow him. Hopefully one day he'll make his own YouTube channel so that you guys can go subscribe too. But right now, we're just staying local. We're starting on Instagram. So go follow so you can get recipes and get you some food inspiration, especially since Christmas is coming up. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.